Hello everybody, thanks for tuning into the Homesteads YouTube channel. On today's episode, we're going to speak specifically about pawpaw trees and the fruit they provide for us. Well, not yet, but soon enough. So first of all, I'm going to get into the nutritional values. In a 100-gram serving, that's 3.5 ounces. There's 80 calories, 1.2 grams of both protein and fat, 18.8 grams of carbs, 2.6 grams of fiber, that's 10% of your daily recommended intake. Vitamin A is 10% or 87 international units. 30% of vitamin C is 18.3 milligrams. There's trace amounts of thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin. The mineral content, 10% of potassium or 345 milligrams, 5% of calcium or 63 milligrams, 3.5% of phosphorus, 47 milligrams, magnesium 28% or 113 milligrams, iron 7 milligrams is 50%, zinc is 8% or 0.9 milligrams, copper 55%, 0.5 milligrams, manganese 26 milligrams, that's over 100%, and there's 11 essential amino acids. So briefly, I'm going to explain some of the mineral benefits in these fruit. So magnesium regulates muscle and nerve function, blood sugar levels, blood pressure levels, and assists in creating proteins, bone, and DNA structure. Copper is a neurohormone homeostasis, assists with neurohormone homeostasis. So basically the hormones in your brain, keeping them balanced. Gene expression, which is pretty significant, I'd say. Brain development, pigmentation, and immune system functionality. So copper is something that is perhaps overlooked often, and we really don't need all that much copper. I think there's only like 20 milligrams found in your body, something along those lines, but 0.5 milligrams is 55% of your daily recommended intake, and that's all some pretty significant internal things that are happening with you that you might not really notice on the surface. Iron is another important mineral found in here, so two-thirds of the iron in your body is found in hemoglobin, and that transports oxygen, so another pretty significant thing. If you are low in iron, then you may look pale and you may be a little lethargic, but yeah, pretty important stuff when it transports the oxygen to every area in your body. And manganese assists in metabolism, regulates blood sugar as well, decreases swelling and inflammation. So yeah, some pretty significant internal structures require these minerals, and as I said, all four of those minerals are found in an abundant amount in just a 100 gram or 3.5 ounce serving. Okay, so now I'm going to get into some of the interesting facts. This is a very unique plant. It used to be found very commonly on most homesteading properties. You can't really buy it in grocery stores. The best way to eat it is when it's ripe and right off the tree. Basically, they only stay kind of edible for a couple of days after ripening, so that's why they're not really high in commercial production. But it was something that I was very interested in planting on our property. It's not quite native to our region, kind of more like the Niagara region down into Florida, but it grows well in zones 5 to 9 and has been surviving in zone 4. I wouldn't necessarily recommend planting these in zone 4, but it has been found to live there. So some of the planting recommendations: soil needs to be well drained with a pH of 5.5 to 7.0. That's moderately acidic to neutral. You want rich, deep, loamy soil, which is a combination of sand, silt, and clay, and you want to have a high organic matter content. So yeah, a lot of composting will help with these. They're common in river floodplains and riverlands in general, and this is one of the unique things about them. I don't know if you can really see them. They kind of blend into the background, but I've put tomato cages on them. Anyways, this region here on our property was filled with brush, and this was a perfect spot to start out with our 3 different varieties. Basically, they need 2 or more years of shade, full shade, to grow. And if a seedling is even exposed to 2 hours of sunlight, it will actually kill the plant. So they're unique in the fact that they need to be in shade for up to 2 years, or at least 2 years, and then they need full sun. So they grow in tightly knit groves. And yeah, again, this region is where I planted them. They were here for 2 years, and they probably look extremely small to you. But this year, their 3rd year, you can see the green shoots there, and that is how they have exploded, basically almost doubling their size this year after receiving a couple years of shade. So yeah, a pretty unique property. When transplanting, the reason why you get them so small is due to the fact that they need a couple years of shade first as seedlings, and they really don't transplant that well. So if you're getting a larger plant, chances are you're going to really have a lot of trouble with it. Any broken roots cause problems with them for sure. So we'll get into the spacing. 5 to 10 feet apart is the general rule, and you're going to want 2 to 3 varieties. 3 is better than 2 for sure. They need to cross-pollinate, and when the flowers bloom, the male and female components are not compatible on the same tree and don't come out at the same time. So you're going to get the pollen first and then the female section after. Another really interesting thing with these plants is the reason why they grow in tightly knit groves is it's believed that their roots actually graft to each other across different varieties, and that they will share nutrients with each other. So I have 3 different kinds. Over here, this is the PA Golden. So I have 2 of those, one here and one back there. They're about 5 feet apart. This one here is the Shenandoah. So I lost one of those last winter. You can see this fella here didn't make it. It's just a stick in the ground now. And then these 2 here are KSU Atwood. So 3 different varieties that will survive in zone 5 and have all been planted close enough together that they should be able to perform the grafting. And this area here is beside the creek and is silty and well drained and basically everything that they need to survive. So I expect that in a few years we're going to be receiving large quantities of these fruit. And they're supposed to be like a combination of mango and banana. And the difference being they're the largest North American fruit that's native. They'll grow up to 6 inches or so. And yeah, they have a lot of seeds in them and stuff, but they're just supposed to be really delicious. And I'm very excited to have these growing on our property. Another very unique thing about this plant is that bees aren't going to help them pollinate. So your native species of bee, and if you have European honeybees, they're not going to get the job done. They actually have a dark purple flower that expels a rotting flesh fragrance, and it's not extremely overpowering or really noticeable. You're not going to smell this, across your property or anything like that. But basically, they need insects that assist with decomposition to pollinate the flowers. So some people have been recommending that you throw some roadkill at the base of these trees before they flower. I'm not going to be doing that, but we catch some mice in our house, so maybe a few of those, or moles or whatever. And you can also hand pollinate if you want to. It sounds like a better option to me, but I'm not too concerned. We have tons of flies and beetles and different things like that are around. So I'm sure these will be, they're really close together, and I'm sure that cross-pollination won't be a problem. Quickly before I go, a real good fertilization method. Well, some folks will tell you that coffee, once it's been washed, it is neutral. So it's not gonna harm them at all. But coffee has a ton of mineral content. So just, you don't have to be shy with that. Throw handfuls of that down and watch them take off. It's not too late to fertilize your plants now. But yeah, that's really it. That's everything that I feel like I can teach you in this short video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below, and any likes and subscriptions are always appreciated. Take care, folks, and thanks for tuning in as usual.